Good morning from Charlotte. It is Sunday, January 25th, 2026, just after the 6 a.m. hour, and an update now on our winter storm that is happening across both North and South Carolina. Looking at radar, you can see we have lots of precipitation, frozen precipitation, moving up the I-85 corridor from South Carolina, and that's going to be moving into North Carolina starting in just minutes. You can see that the National Weather Service has outlined an area from Greenville, South Carolina, through Charlotte, Greensboro, Raleigh, Fayetteville, all in that blue mesoscale discussion, and that's because that's where this heap of frozen precipitation is going to be making its way in. Most of it, we are getting reports this morning that is ice, freezing rain that is falling from the sky. You got to go towards the Virginia line and well into Virginia before you get any significant snowfall accumulations. Mostly of what we're getting here in the Carolinas is reports of sleet and freezing rain. Some snow is mixed in, but as you look out the window this morning, if you just see a light coating on the ground, that's ice. And so it may not look significant. It's not going to be the visual imagery of a blizzard, but just that coating of ice on the ground is going to be enough to impact, of course, travel and power as we go on through the rest of the day. So let's go ahead and show you now some of the reports we got during the overnight hours and what you can anticipate as we head on through the rest of the day. But again, a reminder that this is a monster system. You can see on your screen right now all the pinks, the purples, the purple, the lighter shades of purple, all the different shades of purple. Those are all different versions of winter storm warnings, advisories that are out now across the country from Maine down through Texas, and ice warnings in particular here in the South, because again, ice is our biggest concern. That's where some of our biggest impacts are going to be felt, even if the ice accumulation numbers feel small compared to that of snow. I know this is a little hard to read on the screen, but we do have reports here from Manning, South Carolina, of freezing rain at about 6/100th of an inch, and that's pretty far south, which is why that one stood out to me. Closer to the Greenville area up here in upstate South Carolina, where they can see some of the highest ice totals, we have almost 8/100ths or almost 1/10 of an inch of ice that fell already in Greenville, and that was, note, as of about 2 a.m. And so that was 6 hours ago, so there's probably certainly more on the ground right now. Even in Charlotte, we got a nice glazing during the overnight hours, but you just saw all that precipitation that is making its way from South Carolina into North Carolina here up that I-85 corridor. So all of these amounts are fairly preliminary right now, and of course it's pre-sunrise. So we got a lot of reports from folks, the spotters who sent those in kind of probably as they were heading to bed, and we'll be getting more of those as we head through the morning hours, and Sam Walker will have an update for you coming up at about 9 a.m. this morning. But we do have reports of 1/2 inch of sleet that was reported near Bostic this morning at about 5 a.m. So that's a fairly recent report. And again, these numbers feel kind of small, but I also want to show you that purple is where the snow reports are. And as you get into Virginia, that's where we start to see some snow. So while we are going to see some snow mixed in with all of this, again, it's the ice. We're starting to get this morning some reports of power outages, starting with Duke, the biggest power outage right now in western North Carolina area, kind of to the south and to the west of Asheville. We do have some scattered outages right now, and we are anticipating that those are going to go up through the day. So be sure to have batteries on hand and some sort of safe non-electric heat, because in a minute I'm going to show you how cold the temperatures are going to be the next couple days. So if we start to get pockets of power outages, you're going to need ways to stay warm. We do have about 300 outages of the Charlotte area, another 164 in the Raleigh area. Taking a look here at Dominion in South Carolina, not a hull yet reported, but it is certainly still early. Travel is going to be a big problem with this storm. We have at least one crash reported this morning in Charlotte, and there are probably others out there as well too. You can see the traffic speeds this morning fairly yellow-like, which probably doesn't seem like all too bad for 6 o'clock in the morning, but when you consider how many cars are on the road, the fact that we're having those slowdowns, that is certainly a sign of icy roadways. Taking a look here at this live traffic camera coming to us from South Carolina in the Florence area, we can see that there is a crash being cleared off the roadway here following some sort of early morning collision. We can certainly see the flashing lights of some law enforcement, and I see maybe a tow truck off here to the right side of the road. You can also kind of just see not only the camera seems to have a film on it, and that's certainly like a coating of ice, but the road itself kind of looks real bright or slippery, and that's certainly that freezing rain that's falling. And I want to show you now what a view looks like as we make our way further north. Let's go into Greenville, because I was looking at some of these cameras just a few minutes ago, and you can actually see that coating of the snow the sleet and the freezing rain on the roadways there, and you can see where some of the blacktop is showing on the roads where cars have repeatedly traveled back and forth across it. It's going to be the hills and the curves where we're going to see a lot of crashes. It's going to be hard to get momentum going up the hill, and it's going to be hard to stop the momentum coming down the hill. So don't travel if you don't have to. Let's look here at what our forecast is, and our official forecast from the National Weather Service for how much ice we could see really still showing us a total because this runs through about 1 a.m. this morning through about 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So while we did get a little ice before 1 a.m. on this Sunday, this is really still kind of showing us an overall total view. And some of the worst ice totals are going to be in western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina. We could be looking at half an inch of ice in some areas. And just to put that in context, it takes a 1/4 inch of ice to start bringing down power lines and tree branches because of how heavy the coating of ice is. Maybe in Charlotte, closer to 4/10 of an inch. Greensboro and Asheboro would come in about the same. Raleigh, just shy of 4/10 of an inch. And you can see we're going to have ice accumulating all the way down to that I-95 corridor in both North Carolina and South Carolina. And some of the higher elevations, of course, that's where we could see some of the biggest impacts in western North Carolina, upstate South Carolina, but also, if you're watching this morning, from northeast Georgia. If we do get into a situation where power is out, I just want to show you some of these minimum temperatures, the low temperatures, the next couple of days, because as we start here on this Sunday morning, 22 degrees is our low in Charlotte, 12 in Boone, Raleigh 19. We actually have some 30 degrees coming in Murphy and Cherokee, and also closer to the 30s, maybe the 40s as you make your way out towards the coast. But take a look at these temperatures the next couple days. Monday, our low in Cherokee is 15, Charlotte is 30, Mount Airy is 20, Raleigh is 29, and maybe the mid-40s along the coast. But something really happens here on Tuesday. The low temperatures on Tuesday are in the single digits in western North Carolina, 13 in Charlotte. We're still in the single digits in Greensboro and Asheboro, 13 in Raleigh, and even out towards the coast, below freezing on Tuesday morning at about 23 degrees. When you compare that to the high temperatures today, not getting above freezing in a lot of places. Again, we talked last night on our special edition of the Carolina Weather Group with Sam Walker. You could see 66 degrees on this Sunday in Hatteras. Well, meanwhile, in Hickory, it's 29 degrees, so quite a big contrast. The high temperatures for Monday, we're still showing a high temperature of only 19 degrees in Boone, 41 in Charlotte. That would actually be great. That's one of the highest highs for Charlotte I've seen as this forecast continues to develop, because that will give us maybe a little time to defrost a little bit as those high temperatures can maybe move just above the freezing mark before we get back down to Tuesday, where the high temperatures are still going to be at or just below freezing. Maybe we'll crack 40 here in Charlotte, but again, I really need to drive home that Tuesday morning's low is going to be very cold and very frigid. So probably still going to have ice on the ground, but also those are going to be dangerously cold temperatures for anyone who's trying to get out and about, or anyone who's trying to get to work or school. Of course, check with your local school districts. We have seen a lot of school districts for Monday close or go virtual, and it'll be very interesting to see what they do on Tuesday, if not for precipitation, but for those freezing temperatures. Let's show you here in South Carolina again. Today's low temperatures, 22 degrees in Rock Hill, 20 in Greenville. Maybe we'll get close to 30 as you make your way towards the I-95 corridor. But the low temperatures for Monday here, you can see we're still going to be below freezing at times in upstate South Carolina, maybe 35 in Columbia, maybe closer to 50 as you make your way to the coast. But here's that dreaded Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning lows on the I-85 corridor are going to be about 10, 16 in Columbia, 20 in Waltersboro, 25 in Charleston. So we will be getting some freezing temperatures down at the coast. Compare that to the high temperatures today in South Carolina. We're not going to crack freezing, or maybe just briefly reach it in the upstate. And in the Sandhills, 37 in Columbia, 45 in Orangeburg, and 57 in Charleston. So just like North Carolina, kind of got wide contrast. Let's show you here the day 2 temperatures. This is Monday. Again, we might get a little thawing out as we will reach the upper 30s into the 40s along that I-85 upstate corridor, 46 in Columbia, 56 in Charleston, 47 in Florence. And again, Tuesday, so this is the day that has those frigid lows in the morning, we're going to maybe reach 40 degrees across much of South Carolina. The high temperature at the coast on Tuesday is still in the 40s in South Carolina. But again, we got to get through the ice and the snow here throughout the remainder of the day, and then we have those frigid temperatures coming after that. So if you can stay put, that is the best place to be. Here in the Carolina Weather Group, we'll have updates for you throughout the storm on our YouTube and social media platforms. YouTube is also home to our nonstop stream. It's called the Carolina Weather Net. Questions if that's something you wish to replay this morning. But until we talk to you again, please be well, stay safe, check on your friends and neighbors, and we'll talk to you again real soon. But from Charlotte, I'm James Brierton. Be well.